More people every day are ditching animal products, embracing plant-based foods, and speaking up for what matters. With my experience as an international instructor for vegan nutrition and an award-winning author, I interview experts, innovators, and celebrities about the global movement towards a plant-based future. Do you want to learn how to combat the injustice in our food system affecting your health, the animals, and the planet? Well, you're in the right place. It all starts here with Eating Like You Give a Damn. Welcome to the Eating Like You Give a Damn podcast, the place to discover your passion for plant-based living one bite at a time. I'm your host, Stephanie Harder. If you've ever wondered how to be more effective at reaching people with your message of healthy plant-based eating, then wait till you get a taste of this. Because today's guest is Ronnie Tsunami, a speaker, business coach, and expert in accelerating the growth of the plant-based movement, and he's from Honolulu, Hawaii. Ronnie shares his story of rapidly declining health to becoming completely bedridden, and he finally saw hope for the first time when his wife invited him to watch the film Forks Over Knives, which documents people with chronic conditions as they succeed at reducing their dependence on medications through a whole food plant-based lifestyle. And you're going to hear how after regaining his health in just 6 weeks since going plant-based, Ronnie found himself on the same stage with the doctor who was featured in that film and who led the largest study on nutrition ever conducted. I'm talking about Dr. T. Colin Campbell. And oh boy, wait until you hear about the biggest thing that pissed Ronnie off after returning to his own medical doctor after he got better. What the doctor said to him will absolutely shock you. Now, Ronnie is best known as a change the world coach who helps leaders and organizations to accelerate the growth of their world-changing movements. And he does that tsunami style. Ronnie's been in the training and education space for over 25 years, and his innovative solutions have been implemented in more than 10,000 academic companies and organizations around the world, including Microsoft, the U.S. Air Force, and Plant Pure Nation. Ronnie has a certificate in plant-based nutrition from Cornell University, and he's helped to build online and local support communities with millions of members in over 400 cities around the world. And he's the co-founder of the Plant-Based Society, which provides access to plant-based training courses and resources, and is currently setting up local chapters around the world to help people transition to a healthy plant-based lifestyle. We also talk about the biggest challenge that both plant-based and vegan organizations face and Ronnie's proposal to overcome that challenge, how you can help accelerate the growth of the plant-based movement, even if traditional activism isn't your thing. And this episode is chock full of helpful tools and resources on making your change to plant-based affordable, sustainable, and of course, healthy, no matter if you're just getting started or you've been on the path to eating plant-based for a while. And what better time than now to make sure you know that there's a free online community full of helpful and inspirational people just like you who are rebelling against old food habits and making progress towards a fully plant-based diet for a variety of reasons, like health and wellness, a love for animals, and helping to sustain nature. And if you're looking for recipes and support from a cool crowd of rebels, join us in the Eating Like You Give a Damn community on Facebook. Request to join the revolution at eatinglikeyougivadamn.com/group. And now, hold on to your hats because Ronnie Tsunami is about to blow you away. All right, I am really excited to introduce Mr. Ronnie Tsunami. Thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Aloha.
Aloha. And of course, like I mentioned in your introduction, you're originally from Hawaii, and I love that you use that all throughout your branding. That's amazing.
Definitely. It's, not just a saying, but it is really our approach. Aloha comes from two words. Alo is to share, and ha means the breath of life. So when I say aloha, and especially in the vegan world, right, in the plant-based lifestyle and promoting each other and our health and animals and the environment, sustainability, and even spirituality to an extent, right? That's what it's all about. sharing the aloha.
Yeah, I love that. That's so awesome. So I know that you and I had originally met. I had heard of you, known of you for a while because you have a pretty prominent presence in the plant-based and vegan communities. So I've seen you on social media, but at this past year's Tampa Bay Veg Fest, I was so excited to finally see you speak and to actually like interact with you. You've got such an amazing energy and passion that just exudes from you. So it's very awesome.
Well, thank you. It was great meeting you as well. And Tampa, I love Tampa. I really loved the vibe from Tampa and the people there. They were so nice. And of course, meeting people like you who are so passionate about being vegan and really supporting the animals and again, the plant-based lifestyle as well. There's a lot of reasons, right, for that. But your passion shone through. And I'm really excited for you and your new book.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's very exciting stuff. I know you've got some exciting things coming down the pipeline too, which we'll get into as well. But I kind of want to kick things off. What I do with my guests at first is we start to unravel a little bit of your plant based story. Tell us a little bit about where you were before you discovered a plant based, vegan friendly way of living. What was your diet like? What was your mood about health, and what was going on?
You know, being from Hawaii, in Hawaii, it's pretty common to eat a lot of meat. We have a lot of different cultures, Asian being a very big one, along with in Polynesian and so on. But being of a Filipino ethnic background, eating pork and chicken, very common for us. And in Hawaii, being surrounded by a lot of water, there's a lot of seafood, obviously. So eating fish and just seafood in general is very common. I mean, it's almost expected of you. So growing up, being a carnivore, that's the way I lived for 45 years. I was really just a typical island boy, eating my traditional foods. What's funny is my daughter had turned vegan when she was very young, in her teens, early teens, and I had told her, "Hey, don't tell me how to eat. That's your own choice, but it's my culture. Don't don't tell me how to live my life."
A few of my other guests, have talked about just how ingrained they are in their culture and they just don't want to think about stepping outside of that culture. It's almost like, I don't know, it almost feels taboo in a way.
Right, it's a betrayal, right? And that's the thing. We associate food with so much of our background, our history, because our family traditions are often based around food.
Hmm.
And so the celebratory times in our life, which we cherish, right? Those are the experiences that we really, that's all we at the end of our life have. Those experiences. We can't take our possessions with us, but we can take our memories, our experiences. So with food being so tied to our psychological background for us, it's no wonder that people like me said, "Hey, don't mess with my background. Don't mess with my tradition. Don't mess with my history." So for years, I ate the way I did. And I didn't even realize how bad it was for me until back in 2015, okay, 2014. In October, I was already walking with a cane and
Mm.
was feeling these effects where I had heavy inflammation and gout was a big problem, which is common among Filipinos and anybody that eats a lot of meat, but it is a genetic condition. It's not just diet. Diet's actually one third of gout. So there was a lot of things that I was facing with physically. And then my eyes started shaking. And when I say my eyes started shaking, by October, I had to go into the ER because I was falling down. Every 3 to 5 minutes, I would basically get vertigo where I felt like I was falling off the edge of a cliff. You ever walk to the edge of a cliff or like a balcony and then you step back and you jerk back because you feel like you're about to fall forward? That was happening every 3 minutes. So it was very debilitating. And I went to the ER and the doctor said, "I can see your eyes shaking, literally shaking, but we don't know why." And
Mm.
I went home and it just got worse and worse. And by April of 2015, I was pretty much bedridden because I I couldn't stand up. I had heavy inflammation and my eyes were shaking, so I couldn't work. I couldn't work on the computer. That's what I did, building training programs around the world and working with coaches and speakers and authors. And I couldn't do any of that because I couldn't even stare at the computer. I was literally falling asleep, and I was diagnosed with narcolepsy because to me, I was just tired from all the shaking. So the doctors were like, well, we think it's neurological, and we can prescribe some different medicines to control a lot of the symptoms, but nothing was really getting at the root cause of it. So I pretty much resigned myself to a life of doing nothing. I couldn't work, and I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk, I couldn't perform. I was a musician as well, right, with the Tsunami Wave Riders. And here I am basically just lying down or sitting down and watching TV and doing nothing else. And I was suicidal, to be honest with you, because known as the Tsunami, right? Ronnie Tsunami. It was always basically going big, going fast. I had made a name of going bigger and faster by doing things so much more, right? Going in and doing the work of 3 to 5 people and using technology and so on. So I had this whole brand around that. And here I am now in April, not able to do anything, doing less than what one person was. So I felt really down and depressed. And a lot of people face this, right? When they have health challenges. And it was then that it got really dangerous for me. And my wife and my daughter were concerned. I have 5 kids. And one of my daughters, Kayla, had given me a video to watch called Cowspiracy. And I watched Cowspiracy and I said, oh, wow. You start to learn about the impact of animal agriculture on the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then my wife, who had turned vegan 5 years prior to 2015, she gave me a DVD called Forks Over Knives. And she had just watched a pre-screening of Plant Pure Nation in a movie theater. And she said, hey, this movie's coming out in July, but you should watch Forks Over Knives, which is the movie before it with Dr. T. Colin Campbell. And it's got the science behind plant-based nutrition. I think you really need to watch this. And I said, oh, what the hell? I got nothing to lose. I'm in bed. Put it in. I watched it, and it was for the first time that I said, oh my gosh, is this a solution for me?
So you saw hope for the first time.
I saw hope. And remember, my daughter had turned vegan 11 years prior. My wife had turned vegan 5 years prior. So here I am going, wait a minute, there's something to this. So the next day, I watched it on May 22nd. By May 23rd, I went vegan. I went totally plant. Man, I need to be clear on this because there's a difference between vegan and plant-based. And I went plant-based, right? Because I wasn't doing it for the animals. I was doing it for my health. Within 2 weeks of going plant-based, I could walk without a cane.
Wow.
I could get up and walk without a cane. Within 4 weeks after that, so a total of 6 weeks, my nystagmus, the shaking of my eyes, stopped. So I could work on the computer. I could not get sick to my stomach every 3 minutes, which then pissed me off, right? Because I said, wait a minute.
That's a different kind of reaction than I was expecting in this story.
You don't understand. I'm a little short Hawaiian guy, right? Pretty educated. I mean, I built training programs for a living for 25 years, educating people. That's what I did. And here I was, the most uneducated person in the world to me about eating more fruits and veggies. You're telling me I suffered for a year and no doctor said eat more fruits and veggies to get healthier. I said, really? Really? That's what it took? So I was pissed. And I started delving into everything I could. I was watching every YouTube video. I was watching Dr. T. Colin Campbell and Dr. Barnard and Dr. Greger. I watched everything to understand why, not just what I didn't know, but why I didn't know it. And since then, other movies have come out, right? Like What the Health really is a great movie to explain some of the feelings behind it of why we don't know. And Plant Pure Nation, which was the movie that was coming out at the time, and it came out on July 4th, right, in 2015. I ended up watching Plant Pure Nation also, which also explains about the lobbyists and why we don't hear about plant-based nutrition more. So I delved into it, and my goal was to build a training and education program, a global training education program. I was going to start Go Vegan TV. And I was like, there's got to be a way to tell people about this. And that's when I ended up meeting with Nelson Campbell. And from there, because he was in Mebane, he was created Plant Pure Nation, and he's the son of Dr. T. Colin Campbell. And I met up with him. He happened to be only two hours away from me. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was in Mebane, where they filmed Plant Pure Nation. And from there, I joined Plant Pure Nation as the chief information officer. They were just starting the company. And by July 9th or so, I was actually on stage with Dr. T. Colin Campbell promoting the film Plant Pure Nation, which was being screened there. And that was a thrill for me because here I had been literally just a few weeks prior watching all the videos of Dr. T. Colin Campbell. And now he's become a good friend of mine, Colin, because we worked together through Plant Pure Nation. So all of this stuff that came around happened like at supersonic speed. I mean, here I was a carnivore on May 22nd. By July 9th, I'm on stage with Dr. Campbell, and I'm with Plant Pure Nation. I ended up becoming the chief marketing officer, promoting the film, promoting the meals, building support communities. And I didn't build it alone. To be clear, Plant Pure Pods was a program that Nelson had created, and I had helped to build and to roll out because I had built online communities with prior work. I built hundreds of communities in technology. Now I was helping to build it in wellness. So I was in a totally different state. And I got to tell you, the one thing that still nagged at me was why my doctors didn't say to me, hey, eat more fruits and veggies. So I went back to my doctor. Like, you got to look at this because here I am, by July, involved with Plant Pure Nation at a pretty deep level, right? And I go back to my doctor and I say, hey, why is it you didn't tell me to eat more fruits and veggies, please? Just tell me that. Because what happened was I went back for my test results. And this is, I can't exactly remember when, but it wasn't more than 2 months after I went plant-based. All of a sudden, my cholesterol levels dropped, right? My LDLs, everything, my triglycerides, which had been in the 400 range, had dropped. And here I am at 140s in terms of my cholesterol, where I said, he said, well, what happened? What'd you do? And I said, I was eating more fruits and veggies. And I said, so why didn't you tell me to eat more fruits and veggies, doc? Right? Aren't you the expert? Did you get all the training? And I've since learned why they don't get a lot of training in nutrition. And he said, I didn't think you could do it. I said, what?
Oh, so he knew the secret.
He said, listen, I eat, and this is the doctor talking. He said, I eat a medallion of meat every day. And I couldn't stop eating meat. So I assumed you, especially with your background being from Hawaii, he knew we had talked a lot about what I like to eat. And he said, I just didn't think you could eat vegan. And right then and there, I said, there's validation of what my mission is. We've got to change this perception that you can't change. How do we change the perception that you can't change? Training and education. Create learning programs that people and support programs to encourage people to, one, learn about it, and two, transition to and live a lifestyle. It's not easy, right? If you've been living one way, especially when you're constantly bombarded with messages that say, eat more protein, eat more fat, eat more protein. We see this all the time with, the keto diet, right? And the paleo diet.
Correct.
Yeah, you lose more weight, and that's the whole thing, right? We're very vanity-based society where everything seems to be all about the way you look. That's a big deal. So with knowing that that's the big deal, that's what's foremost in people's minds, I had to address that. And the paleo diet being a big one, a lot of my friends right now, still are on the paleo diet. And I warn them, I said, listen, you do realize that you have 4 times the rate of cancer, right? Paleo diet, you have 75% higher mortality rate. Yeah, you're skinnier, but you can buy a skinnier coffin. I mean, really? Is that what the end goal here is? So, that's where I'm at now. So that kind of kicked off a lot for me of the passion that you hear and that you see when I'm out there, because I'm a very unintimidating, I'm a short little Hawaiian guy, I tell people. And I go, listen, I understand, if I gain a little weight, it shows. Am I 5'2"? Right. It'll show. And I understand. Look, I said, but not only it's not just about weight loss. I mean, obesity is a whole nother issue. I said, this is not just, there's so much more. 14 of the top 15 chronic diseases, right, of our body, not just obesity, are related to what we eat. What we eat matters. That it matters. And it doesn't matter just to the body. So when I went plant-based, it was for health reasons. And then when you start to watch all these videos, and I watched Forks Over Knives, I watched Plant Pure Nation. I, of course, What the Health is a big movie for me. And then I watched Earthlings, which was it's a 26-minute video, right? Earthlings.com. If you haven't gone there, be warned, it's gruesome. I watched 5 minutes of it, and that's like me fast forwarding in the video going, I can't watch that. Fast forward. I watched like a total of 5 minutes of that. And I said, if you watch 5 minutes of this video and it doesn't change your life, or you say, I'm not eating another animal, then you're not human. In the connection there, I ended up watching a lot of these different movies, Species, and so many other films, documentaries that are already out there, right? You don't have to learn everything in a book. You can watch a video and you can quickly share a video. And right then and there, I said, I'm going to build the largest training and education program, the largest learning program on plant-based living, so people can understand the impact to their health and animals and the environment. And just from a spiritual side of things, of knowing you're not having the life force of an animal that suffered, and even if it didn't suffer, it doesn't matter. You're to take the life of another animal. It's that philosophy of life for me that now, 4 years later, I can't believe it's 4 years later. 4 years later, even my kids are like, you're a totally different person, Dad. My son, who I had issues with before, just said, you react differently. I'm much more empathic, I say. I'm much more compassionate. I'm a compassionate kind of guy. And I hate to say that I wasn't a compassionate guy, but when you feel connection with other animals now, let alone other humans, right, that we're all animals at the end of the day. To feel that connection and try to empathize, I think that's been the biggest change. It's not just about diet for me. It's not just about health.
True. And I notice a lot of people do find their way to a plant-based lifestyle through, the interest of their own health. But I tend to see over and over again, a lot of people will stay with it when they have a bigger why than just their own health. Because think about how many of us have, the type of mindset, we'll cheat on a diet, because we want comfort. We want to partake in our cultural, foods, and we want to do things socially with people that accept us for enjoying the type of food that they prepare, if it's not in alignment with the diet that we've chosen for our health. So would you say that seeing these films and really finding connection, that spiritual connection that you're talking about as it relates to animals and the environment, would you say that's kind of the missing piece that usually, gets people to stay?
It is, because the problem is, if you're, for instance, if I just relied on eating plant-based for my health, for gout, for instance, right? And gout, diet can impact it. It's about 1/3 of the issue, the 2/3 genetic. But even on the gout side, if you're just on that borderline of the level of gout, and you eat plant-based, it'll drop below the level, an acceptable level, and you won't have these gout flare-ups. The catch is, people will then say, well, I have no gout right now, so I can go ahead and eat a little beef or a little pork and a little chicken and a little seafood. And it won't, it'll raise it a little, and I can just then go back to my lifestyle. And it's so easy to just drop back and not understand that you're doing it for health reasons is great. Don't get me wrong, but there's other things at stake. And so it's so easy for someone who does it just for health reasons to not stay plant-based, because especially, let's say they lose weight, right? I lost within 30 days when I went plant-based, I lost 20 something pounds, 21 pounds. Nice. And I've kept it off. I don't really exercise much. So my wife will attest to that, because she's always saying I should exercise more. But
she's reminding you to be a little bit more healthy.
But naturally, I stay. But I've basically stayed 20 pounds less, than I used to be,
Yeah.
with no exercise. And it's so easy, right? Oh, I lost weight, so why bother if I eat a little here and there, a little meat, a little. And I hear this a lot in moderation, right? Oh, moderation.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Moderation can kill. So, contrary to popular belief. So, the fact is that yes, it's sad to me that people who go plant-based just for health reasons that don't learn about the other impact, because there's so much more to learn. I always tell people this. I say, listen, you do realize beyond health that by changing just your diet, by eliminating animals from your diet, right? Sentient beings, by just changing one thing of all the different causes you can face in the world, okay, and you can try to solve. By changing your diet, you can help to educate people about bettering their health, right? Stopping 14 of the top, not just stopping, you can even reverse some of our top chronic diseases like heart disease, okay, number one. So that alone, let alone 14 of the 15 chronic diseases, okay? So from a health reason, you could save billions of dollars in health costs, right? Related to your diet, number one. Save millions of lives of people, okay, number one. Two, we know that global warming, climate change, is heavily impacted by animal agriculture. So you can fight global warming and climate change with the way you eat. And then three, the killing of billions of animals, right? 156 billion land animals a year. That doesn't include the animals in the sea. Okay, saving lives. We have this huge outrage over a person killing a lion in Africa, and I go, yeah, but you're eating an animal a day. So 365 animals a year, you're complaining, but you could save billions of animals. Okay. Then we talk about deforestation, again, due to animal agriculture, dead zones in the water due to animal agriculture. Then we talk about just the spirituality side, or even the social justice, the millions of people that lack food security, that lack nutrition. We have cultures where there's just whole societies that lack access to healthy food. That impacts so much more about their family, their work, the social justice issues related to animal agriculture. So you have all of these different causes. I said, name me one thing in the world you could do that could impact so many other movements. Name me one thing. I will jump to that. I mean, I know people that are all about helping people in third world countries. I mean, even the other end, starvation, world starvation. We could literally end world starvation by going plant based. Taking the grain that 50% goes to feeding animals, we could take that same grain and it would actually feed the rest of the world. So, climate change, the health crisis, world hunger, deforestation, social justice. Again, name me one thing you could do, the one thing you could do that could impact so much other than simply changing what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. Why we can't get more people to change? I mean, that's what I do. I literally go out to Veg Fest and to other groups around the country, to different towns and cities, saying, "Hey, guys, everyone says they want to change the world. Let me give you a little hint. I'm going to whisper this to you, and then I'm going to scream it. All right, just what you eat matters. So here's a little tip: eat more fruits and veggies. And the thing is, I'm not one that believes that everyone's going to change. And quite frankly, there are a number of people who will literally come up to me and say, "Hey, you should promote veganism, not plant-based." And I go, "What?" They say, "Yeah, vegan versus plant-based. It's all about." Listen, I'm vegan. My shirt here, if you can't see it, it says "Vegan Warrior." Right?
Vegan warrior. I love it.
Right. And I got this from Christopher August, who founded the Vegan Warrior Academy. This is it. I mean, this is the thing that, to me, I'm all about the animals. However, I know, having built training and education programs for 25 years, right? This is what I did for a living. I know that there are some people that'll instantly switch, but a majority of people take steps. And the thing is, you want them to take the journey, because here's the thing: I can teach all day long, I can train and educate, but that doesn't mean people will learn. People who take the journey themselves, that connect the dots themselves. I cannot connect the dots for them. When people connect the dots for themselves, that's when real learning and real change happens.
Yes.
Until then, I'm just a commercial.
True. Yeah, I agree
Right?
100%.
That's you wrote an outstanding book. It is an amazing book because it really makes you think, right? And that's the beauty. All you can do is position the material in front of them, right? They have to pick it up and read it or watch it or listen to it. But when they start to connect the dots in their head and go, wait a minute, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it helps health, but there's all these animals that are also in factory farms, and oh, it's horrible. Oh, wait a minute, it's impacting the earth, the runoff from these farms, that's also impacting the earth, and they're clearing all the lands for the animals to feed. You understand, when you start to connect those dots, all of a sudden those cheat days don't exist. There is no cheat day. You can't cheat on animals, on literally killing of animals. You can cheat on your diet, but it's a whole nother level of respecting yourself, of respecting life. And if there's anything I can say to people listening to this, that the one thing I've learned in this journey for myself, and I was the worst one. Like I said, if you were to calculate the number of animals that I really was responsible for, right, and killing, I know that I have a lot to atone for. But I can tell you this: in this whole journey of going plant-based and being vegan now, it is my respect for life that sticks in my mind, of all life, not just animals, not just humans, but the life of the planet, the life of future generations, right? I have 5 kids, 2 grandkids. That legacy of life is what I want to leave behind. And I believe in my soul that other people want to leave a legacy of life as well. That respect for life impacts everything. I mean, just from a society standpoint, and in dealing with a lot of the social justice issues, right? Racial divisions that we face here in the US and around the world. People say, well, what does race have to do with, eating vegan, eating plant-based? And I go, it has to do with a lot. It's respect for life.
Mm-hmm.
The way we empathize, the way we connect with each other. If everyone was connected, literally, if everyone was literally connected emotionally, mentally to each other, and understood the challenges they faced, you understand this to be a totally different world. But how do we do that? How do we stay connected to each other when in the back of our mind, we literally block our minds to say, okay, I know eating meat's bad for the animals, and I know it's not always healthy for me, but I'm going to block off a piece of my conscience while I'm eating this because I don't want to think about all those poor animals dying. I'm just going to enjoy my hamburger because I enjoy the taste. All right.
Sure.
You block off your mind.
We're so good at compartmentalizing.
There you go. That's the term. So
Yeah.
what else are we compartmentalizing? What are we doing? What else are we segmenting from our partitioning from our brain? That empathy part of it. And that's what I'm saying is, when you have that freedom that comes, people say, oh my, it's so restrictive. I go, no, it's not. It really isn't. It freed my mind. It freed my heart. And I said, that level, I said, I so wish you could enjoy what the freedom that I enjoy now. And it is that respect for life that I have now, that freedom to respect all life with no guilty conscience whatsoever anymore. I have forgiven myself for the 45 years of eating meat before. I have forgiven myself, and my wife and my daughter are probably the shocked of the transformation that's happened to me. But that's what I tell people. You plant the seeds and you water. You never know. In my case, my family planted the seeds for 11 years. Okay, and nothing happened, nothing. And then when that seed sprouted, it became a plant-powered tsunami, right?
I love it.
That's the thing. So don't give up. When your spouse says, "Hey, I'm going to eat this, you eat that, don't bother me." Don't give up. When your kids say, "Hey, I'm going out with my friends and this is the way you eat. I don't want to look like the kid on the outside that, listens to their parents all the time. Ha ha ha." Don't give up. When you have that family member, whether it's your mother or your father, that's had a heart attack and says, "Well, I don't know if I can change my diet right now because, your mother cooks this way and blah, blah, blah," whatever the excuse is. And you say, "I'm going to give up." Do not give up, because it's not just their health. It's their health. It's the planet. It's animals. It's your spirituality here. It's your belief in life and its future generations. There's so much more at stake here. Don't give up, because you just never know when that seed will sprout.
I agree too. As far as communicating with our loved ones, with the people that we encounter in life, when you're saying don't give up, what are some of the best strategies? I mean, we see probably a lot of strong personalities in the vegan community, and while that works with some people and for some people, a lot of people feel they're being rubbed the wrong way. They're, having ideals shoved onto them that don't resonate right now because they're just not in that headspace, or they're just not in that season of life where they're open to the message. So what are some strategies you can offer for people as far as communicating goes?
I've encountered a lot of this. As I mentioned, I was the chief marketing officer for Plant Pure Nation, right? Big community, thousands, like tens of thousands of people that are part of the members. So we got a lot of input from people in the community. And now with the Plant-Based Society, I've encountered this as well. And the one thing that sticks out in my mind, one of the hesitations that people have, they say, "I'm not an expert." And if anything, they say, "Who the hell am I to tell other people how to eat or what not to eat when I was this way for years?"
Mm.
I've been there, right? So that's the thing. That the biggest hesitation people have is, who am I to preach when I was a sinner, right?
Right.
Listen, for number one, you got to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself, and that's one of the things I talk about how to forgive yourself. But the other thing is to let other people talk for you. And there's so much information out there. So what, for instance, someone will say to me, and this is a true story. I had someone say to me, "Listen, I have pancreatic cancer, and I just wanted to let you know." And I said, "Whoa." My aunt had died from pancreatic cancer a couple of years ago. And I said, "Hey, I want to share something with you." And it's a video, if it's okay, that kind of talks about some of the reasons for pancreatic cancer. And I shared a video from Dr. Greger. So Dr. Greger is an MD, right? So I went to nutritionfacts.org, did a search on pancreatic cancer, pulled up a video, sent it to him, and it's a short minute video, right? I think 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in there. And I said, "Watch this if you want to learn a little bit more, and if you want, I can even share more with you. But watch this and let me know what you think." Came back to me and says, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." By the way, this person was a vegetarian, but I take it vegetarian who ate chicken. So they were
little confusion
so
there with the term vegetarian then, right?
Vegetarian. And I said, yeah. So, and again, people, I have family members who were eating a lot of meat and again suffered health issues. And I would say, "Hey, I know you don't want to hear about me being vegan. This is just my choice, but I thought this information related to your health may be of interest." And that's all I do. And it's what happens. It's no longer me, right? It's someone else. So I have videos from Dr. Barnard and Dr. T. Colin Campbell and Dr. Khan and so many other, Dr. Carney, Dr. Linda Carney. She's an awesome doctor as well. And I simply said, "Hey, why don't you watch this video?" I share a video from YouTube. And it's so quick, right? We have our phones with us. Just grab your phone, go on YouTube, share a video. And I said, "Listen, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But I thought this might be of interest to you." Hey,
Hmm.
and you can even say it indirectly. And I've had this before where I talk to people and I said, oh, if you know someone with some health challenges, I knew they had health challenges, but I didn't confront them about it. I just said, hey, I'm kind of on this health kick because I had some health challenges myself. And if you know, wink, wink, of anybody with health challenges, there's this great video that I saw or this great movie. And I would often share Forks Over Knives.
Nice.
And Forks Over Knives is on Netflix. And then Plant Pure
Hmm.
Nation, the film, was on Netflix. And now you can go to plantpurenation.com and watch the film for free. It was taken off of Netflix now, and it's available for free. And then I would recommend What the Health and all these other different films, documentaries. And then they would, oh, that's kind of cool. Hey, I know you're into the environment. You might want to watch Cowspiracy. Boom. So again, there, you no longer have to be the expert. And I even created a website. So if you on Plant-Based Society's website, if you go to plantbasedinfo.com. So if you're trying to figure out where to send people, if you're talking to someone in the store, like, I cannot tell you how many people at the cash register, like cashier, will say something because they'll see my shirt and go, oh, you're vegan? Oh, I've been thinking about it, but I don't know where to start, blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh, well, I tell you what, I used to, my wife used to go, Ronnie, why don't you carry business cards? I said, who's going to carry a bunch of business cards with vegan on it or plant-based society cards? She said, you're the founder. You should carry this. I said, well, I'm a lazy, I tell people I'm a lazy ass. I'm a lazy ass islander. I'd rather be on a beach or surfing. I don't want too much work. And she says, they come up with a better way. So here's what I did. I created plantbasedinfo.com, which is a page on Plant-Based Society's website. But plantbasedinfo.com has a little window that you put their email address. So as I'm talking to people, I go, hey, would you really want information on plant-based eating and eating vegan? They're like, yeah. I go, here, what's your email address? And I pull it up on my phone. I go to plantbasedinfo.com. I have a little link. I bookmarked it. And then I type in there, I said, do you want to put your email address? They put their email address, or I type it in there. It sends them the Plant-Based Tsunami or the Plant-Powered Tsunami presentation, PowerPoint, PDF. And so they have information, and then they get information on plant-based eating from the Plant-Based Society and tips and tricks. And on that same page, there's FAQs and little questions like, where do I get my protein? Doesn't the Bible say that we shouldn't, that we're supposed to eat animals?
That's perfect. It covers so many of the common questions that we hear. Yeah.
FAQ. So I created like top 10 FAQs, which have a little phrase that you can say and a video. If there's often a video available, I'll put that there. So you have no excuse. You can literally, with no training, read off. What'd you say? Where do I get my protein? Well, and then you just read it off of the page and it shows up there. And it's things like that resources like that. I have a plant-based, if you go to plantbaseddirectory.com, it takes people to the plant-based directory of resources with all the training programs, all the books and the links to that. Plant-based, you like courses. Well, I want training. I need to learn more about it, but I don't know where. There's so many videos on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. I go, listen, go to plantbasedtraining.com. I tried to make this simple, right? It was like, where do I get plant-based info? Plantbasedinfo.com. Where do I get training on plant-based life? Plantbasedtraining.com. I need to see a directory of resources. Plant-based directory. How do I make this so stupidly easy for people?
You are like a serial problem solver, which is amazing. Like you just think of the easiest way to solve people's problems, answer their questions, and you just create it and direct them to that one place. That's perfect.
But I have to be honest. It's because I'm lazy. If there's a lazy vegan, it would be me. I'm seriously a lazy vegan. If there's a way to make people, oh, it's too hard to eat vegan and eat plant-based because there's so many ingredients and the recipe books are like 30 steps to create, a dessert, blah, 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 blah. I go, I know a recipe that's pretty simple. It's like 2 cans. My wife came up with that. 2 cans. And it's black beans and tomatoes. And then you stir it and put some spices in it and you got yourself a nice little side dish there or main dish, depending on, and here's the benefits of beans, right? And here's the benefits of tomatoes. And here, if we start to talk about these things, I go, there you go. Tell me again. Oh, I don't really like to cook. I said, well, Plant Pure Nation has a whole line of frozen meals you can microwave in 5 to 7 minutes, and they're available at Publix. Oh, it's too expensive. They're $5. They're $5 meals. And if you want rice and beans are pretty cheap in my neighborhood. I don't know about your neighborhood. Here's how much it costs. Ellen Jaffe Jones has a book on how to eat vegan on $4
$4 a
a day,
day.
right?
Yeah.
How about that book? And there's another woman. She's got another website that talks about eating on plant-based on a budget. I go, okay, what's your excuse this time? Because let me tell you, there's a lot at stake. And let me apologize. I don't mean to say excuse. There are a lot of reasons why we do what we do, why we live the way we live. But the fact is, there is a lot of stake at stake here. And the fact is, there are so many resources. There's so much help available to you now. Don't let your own self, your own mind, your own fear get in the way. There's a lot of fear, right? What if I can't do this? What if I fail at changing my diet? What if I don't know how to respond to my family if they tell me, why am I eating like this? There's a lot of fear there. Don't be afraid to fail. We all fail at one point or another, because understand there is a growing community, right? Plant-based is so popular now. In some countries it's growing 100% to 1,500% in terms of the number of products purchased, right? The growth of the industry. So with that in mind, you're no longer alone. You are not alone. We're here to help.
Yeah, I love that. And speaking of the resources and the ease of getting a hold of the information that people seem to be missing in order to kind of put the pieces together and implement it into their own life, because we all have unique backgrounds, we have unique challenges, we have a unique day-to-day way about how we live our lives. So talking about the resources, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Plant-Based Society, which you have co-founded.
Sure. So my wife and I co-founded the Plant-Based Society. Joanna and I wanted to create an organization that could actively help people transition to, one, learn about a plant-based lifestyle and transition to a plant-based lifestyle, and then really live a plant-based lifestyle, right? It's one thing to transition. Then after that initial transition, then what? So we created the Plant-Based Society to be kind of an association, right, with chapters. So it's not just a group of independent groups. And by the way, Plant Pure Nation has a pod program. If you go to plantpurecommunities.org, they have a beautiful pod program for independent groups. We wanted to create Plant-Based Society with chapters for those people who didn't know where to start, right? They didn't know how to start a group themselves, and they wanted to be part of an organization which had resources that could build a website for them, that could provide speakers for them, that could provide books and training materials for them, that could provide brochures and flyers for them, so that they could just go out there and essentially evangelize the plant-based lifestyle, right? That's why we created Plant-Based Society. So it's a bit more involved, more active.
Mm-hmm.
And with that in mind, we wanted to provide resources, from books to training guides, transition guides, to providing places where they could meet, right? Find restaurants, to coordinate speakers, both online and in person, as part of our Speakers Bureau. So we wanted to provide more support to people. And we did this through the Plant-Based Society. So at plantbasedsociety.com, we set up first an online directory and start to add resources there. So you can see a map, and you can search through different categories of books to training programs to even finding Facebook groups, right, that are out there. So many great support groups that are out there. Then we built some online training courses. Dr. Greger of Nutrition Facts, Dr. Michael Greger, who wrote How Not to Die, I asked him if I could use some of his videos. So he said, hey, have at it. So we took his videos, and the training is free. We're not charging for these training videos. Some courses may come from authors who charge,
Mm-hmm.
and we may offer those, but we have some free training classes as well, which are online courses. And we've basically taken some videos and put them in an order like diabetes, how to fight type 2 diabetes, right? So we put those online training courses for free. And then we started to build out the chapters. So we started with the Charlotte chapter. And now we're building out the Tampa chapter. We've got a couple hundred people now in a Tampa, Florida chapter. And then we've had people who want to start chapters in San Francisco and Moscow, Russia, to Washington, D.C., to Chicago. So we're opening up those chapters as well, where, again, we just need leaders. We need people who are as passionate. And I want people as passionate as me.
Yes.
I'm the benchmark. If you're as passionate as me, then you're good to go. Because the thing is, a chapter is only as good as the leader. So we want people that are like, know what's at stake and are willing. We have a whole system. We have a wave system, and which wave is the way we evangelize or we promote the plant-based lifestyle. Wave is wake up, adopt the plant-based lifestyle, validate the lifestyle, and then engage others. So we have this system called wave that we teach the leaders. And then when those leaders teach the members, at the end of the day, plant-based society isn't designed to teach people. It's designed to put the information in front of people where they connect the dots. But in addition to connecting the dots, what we do educate people on is how to teach others. See the wave? A tsunami is not one big wave. It's a wave built upon another wave, built upon another wave. So this plant-powered tsunami that we want to create is about educating others and helping people to connect the dots themselves, right? About the power of plant-based eating and the vegan lifestyle. And then teaching them how to educate others. That's
fantastic.
The community. That's the synergy, right? Synergy is the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the individual parts. And so we believe that 1 + 1 = 3. Sometimes 1 + 1 = 5, because other opportunities come your way when you start to share this message. So that's the plant-based society. And we chose plant-based society for a reason. People say vegan. I said, listen, there are a ton of vegan societies out there, and they do a freaking awesome job about spreading the vegan message. The challenge with a vegan society is that, or a vegan organization that uses the term vegan in it, is that people that are just learning about plant-based eating for health reasons, again, vegan is more for the animals, right? For the health reasons, are intimidated often by the word vegan.
True.
There's some people don't know what it means. Some people will equate it to the spiritualism piece of not killing animals. And they're like, listen, I'm just in it for the health reasons. Now, they may, like I did, find it as a gateway to learn and then go vegan. But the fact is, if my end goal is to bring as many people as possible into the plant-based world and then share the other issues, right, of animal agriculture, it is easier to do it through a plant-based society. A plant-based society is not intimidating, and we do not discriminate. The thing is, vegans, you're either vegan or you're not. You can't be 90% vegan. If you're 10% eating animals, you're not vegan. So you're either 100% vegan or you're 0% vegan. I don't care what people say. There is no in between. However, you can be 90% plant-based and 10% carnivore, or you can be 20% plant-based and 80% carnivore, right? And there's a journey. We believe everyone has a journey to go on, and we often connect the dots at our own speed. Okay? So our job in the plant-based society is simply to help you along that journey. So we do not ask you, you can be a pure carnivore and join the plant-based society, and we'll educate you on why you should be eating more fruits and veggies and legumes and nuts and whole grains. We'll explain all of that to you, and then we'll educate you on some of the animals. We'll introduce you to some farm sanctuaries and invite you on some trips to some farm sanctuaries. And then we'll invite you to an environmental excursion to the beach, and we learn about the issues there, or to the forest around the Carolinas. You know, all of these events and activities are designed to help you connect the dots, but we don't care where you are on your journey. We are non-exclusive. Everyone is welcome to join the plant-based society. And that's the way. Now, from there, you may go, I want to get more involved with the vegan world and do this and that. Guess what? We have a bunch of vegan societies and information. Then in the directory, you can join those organizations. Where, again, there's too much infighting I see within the organizations around. Then I'm like, why are we fighting with each other? Are you kidding me? Why people are
Hmm.
upset at PETA? I'm like, PETA's got some issues that, we can debate whether they should have had this ad or it's too sexy and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, but they got some great information and some great guides. And some people need that kind of push. And like, okay. And then some people are on the opposite spectrum and they're all medical and they don't talk about animals and they don't talk about the science and they talk about the human growth factor and all of these different hormones and all these different books that mention nothing about animals. And I go, you know what? That's great info. Can I share that? Yes. Why? How do I say this? I want to say this nicely. I'm just going to say it the way it is in my mind. Why bitch and moan
Yeah.
about other organizations when we really are on the same side? I've had organizations, like there's an organization that talks about humane eating. Now, they're all about the earth and sustainability. And yet on their site, they talk about humane animal, the raising of animals for humane eating. And I go, dude, no, for me as a vegan, I'm going, there is no humane eating. But I go, listen, they have these great resources that talk about the impact of animal aquaculture to the planet, or that talk about the environment in general. And they have these, I pull those stats. Now you're into the environment, learn more here. But again, I position everything to where we have resources available. At the end of the day, people are smarter than we give them credit for, right?
Right.
People will connect the dots.
Yes.
Depending on where they're at on their journey, they will then make the decision. Well, this organization also believes in this, so I'm not going to join. Let them make the choice.
Right.
We're all on the same side. So the plant-based society is designed on that same premise, that we will share information and connect people to different organizations, as long as at the end of the day we're all believing that we should be eating less animals, which I believe we should be eating no animals, but we should be eating. I focus more on the eat more plants
Yes.
piece of it, eat more fruits and veggies, displace, because at the end of the day I will end up converting more people to a plant-based lifestyle, to me, than simply hammering at them and scolding them with a wagging finger and saying, shame, shame, shame on you. You're eating all these animals.
Sure.
I think we will be more successful in transitioning more people to a plant-based lifestyle, educating them, and teaching them how to educate others and how to help other people connect the dots. Than simply shaming them themselves. To me, there's a better way.
I love that. And I really love that you're bringing that up as far as how you are training other people to go out and teach more people, in a positive manner. I know that, thinking back to when I first in 2009, I read a book called Skinny Bitch, and that's what started to shake me awake to what was going on in the food system. And I had an emotional reaction to the information that I read in that book, specifically when it comes to the animals. So that became my big why. But I remember feeling, I went through what Colleen Patrick Goudreau likes to teach about as far as the different stages. It's almost kind of like related to the stages of grief, right? So we go through all these different emotions through part of that journey. And I remember kind of hitting this evangelistic stage where I just wanted everybody to know the information because I had, not known it for so long as it related to the health and the environment, but particularly the animals that I cared for so much. And I just wanted people to know, and not really having the tools or the effective communication skills about it, and which is really ironic because I actually I went to school for professional communications. So that was my major. And I did not still feel very effective in my communication with the people around me as far as sharing this message in a positive manner, in a way that I felt like could potentially reach more people in an effective way, if you know what I mean.
Totally.
So the tools that you're offering is so amazing. And it sounds like the amazing way to accelerate the plant-based movement. And I know that's what you focus on with the Plant-Based Society. So what are some tricks and tips that you could offer for listeners who also want to accelerate the plant-based movement?
Well, as you know, I'm super passionate about this plant-powered tsunami, and it is a tsunami, and the tsunami is not coming the tsunami is actually here. And so
Mm.
in the plant-powered tsunami, I do a presentation. I actually have a presentation available for download that people can download and share, and I freely give it away. And within that, I have a bunch of stats, for instance, right, that talk about the tsunami being here, and from a business standpoint, from the number of people that are going plant-based and that are sharing the message. So it gives them hope that they're not alone and that there's movement. There's so much happening in the plant-based movement, not just in food, but in terms of retail, in terms of animal products, right? Going away, instead of leather, they're using fake leathers, for instance. And then you've got handbags, and and then you've got cleaners that no longer have, and cosmetics that no longer use animal products. So there's a whole movement, this plant-powered tsunami that's growing. So I show these stats so people can share that. But within the presentation as well, I have a system I mentioned earlier called WAVE. And I tell people, number one, on the WAVE, the W stands for wake up. Wake up yourself first. Educate yourself. Watch the films that are out there, from Forks Over Knives to Plant Pure Nation to What the Health to Cowspiracy to Earthlings. There's a lot of different documentaries out there that you want to educate yourself on. And read books, another way to wake yourself up. I love The China Study by Dr. T. Colin Campbell, Whole by Dr. Campbell as well. How Not to Die is probably one of my top favorite books as well, because Dr. Greger explains things in such a nice, easy way. And I listen to the audio version, and I put in my CD player in the car. And when I'm driving, I end up learning about how many berries I should be eating, and nuts, and just really cool piece of information. I'm like, oh, really? So educate yourself, wake yourself up. Okay, attend meetings and meetups. Find different organizations yourself. If you need help with that, we can help you with that. But wake up. Okay, that's number one. Two, adopt a lifestyle. So the A in WAVE is adopt a plant-based lifestyle. So if you woke yourself up, you yourself should be eating more plant-based. And there are a lot of reasons why you should be eating plant-based, but we provide information on why you should be adopting a plant-based lifestyle and how to do that within the guide. Three, validate the lifestyle. Not only do you adopt it, validate it. So what does validate mean? Validate the lifestyle means document your results. When you go plant-based, how do you feel? Keep a journal. Maybe blog about it. You know how much a blog costs to start? You go to WordPress.com. It's free. Free 99. Free. Did you hear that? Free. Free. It's free. Zero cost. Okay, to start a blog. Oh, Facebook. By the way, Facebook is a blog. That's in essence a blog. In LinkedIn, you can start a blog. You know how much it costs? Yeah, free 99. So adopt a plant-based lifestyle, but then validate it. You got to validate your results. Collect testimonials from people. So when you meet people that are going plant-based and you hear them, oh yeah, I went plant-based and blah, 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 and I lost this much weight, or I, was able to get rid of my type 2 diabetes in 30 days. Really? Oh my gosh, would you mind sharing that with me? Can I record you? Oh, I don't know how to record people. Yeah, it's called the Memo app on your phone. And,
Easy peasy. So convenient.
Often it's free. So I don't know. How about you record that? You can record a little message on your Facebook Live instead of talking about the politics and why you hate this person or love this person. Why don't you record a little video with someone or yourself, share your testimonial, because you know how much Facebook Live costs? Oh yeah, it's free. So validate the lifestyle. Once you do that, engage others. That's the E in WAVE. Take the validation, the videos, the audios, the texts, the blogs, take all that information you validated and share it. Engage others. Social media is one way. In social media, you got Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. You know how much those cost? Free. So engage others. Share it. Share information from all these different sites. Where can you get information from other sites? A couple places I love to go. I love nutritionfacts.org, number one. I love that. Plant Pure Nation's got some great videos on the YouTube channel. Go to Plant Pure Nation, tons of videos. You know why? I hosted a bunch of summits. The Plant Pure Summit had 60 speakers on plant-based nutrition, lifestyle, and healthcare. All these video interviews. You can just click on it and share it. Of course, Nutrition Facts got tons of videos. PCRM.org's got a ton of videos from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine from Dr. Neil Barnard. So take that information and share with others. Go to groups or start a group yourself. Go to meetup.com. Meetup.com's got a ton of different groups on plant-based lifestyle, vegan lifestyle that you can join. If there is no one in your town or city, start one. If you need help, we'll help you start a plant-based society chapter. You know how much it costs to start a chapter? It's free. Free 99. So my point here is wave. You can be part of this wave, and it doesn't cost a ton of money. Now, I will tell you, it takes time. It will take time. It takes energy, and it takes passion. But listen, I build training programs, and I help coaches and speakers and authors to start their movement. So that's my day job, so to speak, right? And as that, I say you have passions, but when you align your passions with your mission, and they're not always the same, right? I have a passion for music. Doesn't always align with everything, but I now have a vegan band, the Tsunami Wave Riders, that's aligned with my mission. So now when you can take your passions and align it with your mission, it's super powerful. It's synergistic. And that then leaves a lasting legacy. Passion plus your mission equals a legacy. That's what we try to do here. And I'm offering you a chance right now. I'm inviting you to connect the dots yourself. I'm inviting you to leave a legacy of life for others, to create a wave, to be part of this plant-powered tsunami, to change the world, because the world needs changing, and it's going to change. We can accelerate that change, because for every second, every minute, every hour that people don't have this life-saving message, there are people, there are animals, there is a planet that suffers every time you don't say a thing. So join the plant-powered tsunami, and let's create change together.
That is so powerful and motivating and beautiful. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your amazing energy and wisdom with all of us here. Please tell us, how can we connect with you for those of us that really want to be able to connect and find more about you and what you're working on?
Sure. So first, I want to invite people to come to the Plant-Based Society website. So plantbasedsociety.com is our website. You can go there, and there's a contact us page there. So you can contact me through there. There's a form. My email address is info@plantbasedsociety.com. You can email me there as well. And I invite people to download the presentation. So I have a presentation called Plant Powered Tsunami, how to accelerate the plant-based movement, or how you can accelerate the plant-based movement. And you can download that for free. So you can download it, share it. Again, plantbasedsociety.com. And if you want to share this information, again, that top FAQ, top 10 questions people ask, or to put other people's email address there, you can go to plantbasedinfo.com as well. It takes you to the same page. It's all Plant-Based Society. But I really want to invite people who want to start a chapter. If you want to start a Plant-Based Society chapter in your town or city and don't know where to get started, don't have training, I don't care. You don't have to be a doctor to start a Plant-Based Society chapter. You don't have to be a leading advocate in plant-based nutrition or a vegan powerhouse. What we're looking for are people who are passionate about spreading the word. I can teach you how to educate people. I can't teach passion. You have to have that yourself. So that's what we're looking for. And we're only now really taking this and message and starting chapters around not just the country, in the US. I'm based in Charlotte, North Carolina. But we want to do this worldwide. We want to localize in different languages around the world as well. I never do anything small. I do things tsunami style, big and fast.
Tsunami style, absolutely.
Those who want to go big and fast, contact me.
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, Ronnie, for just helping people to step into their power and to support them in their leadership role to be able to create meaningful change, and with all the different avenues that you provide for people to be able to do that and to provide that support. So Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Aloha and mahalo for all the work you do, Stephanie. And again, congratulations on such a freaking awesome book. I really am looking forward to seeing you more.
Thank you so much. That was Ronnie Tsunami, co-founder of the Plant-Based Society. And that link again to download the Plant-Powered Tsunami presentation, which is the guide to help you accelerate the plant-based movement, is plantbasedsociety.com. And if you are as passionate about plant-based living as Ronnie is, and you're ready to go big and fast with growing the movement in your community, be sure to email Ronnie at info@plantbasedsociety.com and let him know that you heard it here on the Eating Like You Give a Damn podcast. If you found Ronnie's health transformation as incredible as I do, and you're looking for more inspiration like that, especially if you have a cultural background that is tied to certain chronic health conditions, go check out episode 1, Fab the Vegan, who shares how he reversed his type 2 diabetes and reclaimed his life. If you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button and consider leaving a review in Apple Podcasts. You can also snap a photo while listening to the show and post it to your favorite social media channel. And don't forget to tag Eating Like You Give a Damn on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This helps to get the word out about plant-based living while also showing off just how cool you are for being a progressive rebel. Thanks for listening, and until next time, veg on, rebels.